Have you ever wondered what it would be like if you put your entire self and body onto the internet for the whole world to see and criticize and judge and make fun of, and what would happen?
Now, William Haynes stepped in last minute, dropped 14 pounds.
Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, caught in 4K.
A lot of energy. And he was shredded, and he was still rocking it.
Also, I got a comment on one of my videos like a year ago where someone was like, the guy that Markiplier does his podcast with was commenting on you and he was unhappy.
TBD, the guy who fought Chris Reagan, I forget his name off the top of my head.
William Haynes
is my name, okay?
Yeah. He hopped on stage and interrupted the show of this comedian that they paid to come on for entertainment.
Oh! With how you were acting at Creator Clash. And I was like, wow, I'd really love to hear that, but I never looked for it until today. I think I found it. So let's see. First, listen, I'm a man. So anytime anyone has ever spoken on me positively or negatively, I have it in my mind forever, especially if it's positively. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't really know who Jacksepticeye was. I knew of Markiplier because everybody talks about him forever.
You know, the memes of me crying all the time.
What were you crying about? In the actual
what I was crying about is like someone made a compilation of fan reactions thanking me for making content. The reason it was so sad is because I had this realization when I was watching that I would never be able to have a personal connection.
Because you were too big?
I got too successful. That is something that people don't realize how much it affected me because not a lot of people have that same connection with the audience they have. I literally grew up as a human being with these people. And to know that I would never be able to have the kind of connection I had when I started, that was devastating to me.
And one time, not too long ago, my brother came over and showed me a video of him playing a video game where you are a driver and people keep getting into your car and they're creepy and you have to like get them to their location.
What
are you doing out there?
Oh!
Here.
I just broke all of my ribs trying to run away from this crazy priest. Oh,
and without them killing you, and it was pretty cool. And he had that space show. That was awesome. I mean, I didn't watch it, only watched the beginning, but I thought it was really cool that he did that. So anyway, these guys are gonna comment on me.
So this one I have wild, baseless opinions on.
One of my favorite comments that I get constantly when I post anywhere like TikTok or YouTube is like, oh, I'm seeing you for the first time in years. You got ripped? Yes. I mean, I've been working out for a long time, but I started taking my fitness very seriously in 2020. So between 2020 and 2023, I was working out 5 to 6 times a week, for at least 1 hour every day. So yes, there was a transformation arc that if you weren't here the whole time, you totally missed it, and it's cool. A lot of fitness influencers will lie to you about how they got their abs, but not me. Using only one cinder block, I was able to chisel my physique using these exercises only. So anyway, in April of 2023, I did Creator Clash 2 with only like 2 or 3 weeks of preparation. So this is me knowing very little about boxing, thrown into the ring. And Markiplier and Jacksepticeye, I guess they did the pre and post show. This is why I didn't know about this. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on that day that I didn't know about, but I wasn't watching the stream because I was there. And as soon as my part was done, I was so happy it was over, I split. So apparently Markiplier was in the room. I didn't see that fool at any point. Never. I would have liked to, but like you walk up to somebody who's popular and you don't really know them like that. You just know that everybody else know them. So I'll be like, hey, Markiplier, I see you have a whole bunch of views on your videos. So anyway, they did the show at the end and they made comments about me. Also, I got a comment on one of my videos like a year ago where someone was like, the guy that Markiplier does his podcast with was commenting on you and he was unhappy with how you were acting at Creator Clash. And I was like, wow, I'd really love to hear that, but I never looked for it until today. I think I found it. So let's see. First, let's just be real. Markiplier is one of those people that has such a beautiful voice. It's like really amazing. Like I'm watching this video on his channel of him talk about nothing. I think he's saying that his show just got put on Amazon Prime or something like that. Yeah, the plan has changed. Only Markiplier can upload a video with a title, The Plan Has Changed, and it's just him talking.
Well, throw that plan out the window and let it rot outside because plans have
1 million views in 7 15 hours, 1.2 million. So anyway, I watched it earlier, and I think he's just saying that his show is on Amazon, and he's trying to get it in the top 10. And it's currently at number 7 in the U.S., so it looks like he achieved his goal. That's really amazing for him. So let's see what they said about me.
So, this one I have wild, baseless opinions on. I know that's rare for me.
A lot of people have wild, baseless opinions on me, and I just let them live.
Yeah, we have William Haynes versus Chris Raygun.
Now, William Haynes stepped in last minute, dropped 14 pounds in 3 weeks.
Yes.
Nuts to do.
He is absolutely correct about that. Losing 14 pounds. Look, at that time, I had never lost weight in my life. Obviously, I'm a skinny person, so I've only slowly gained weight my entire life. I've never had a moment in my life where I was like, I need to lose weight. Let me do that. So seeing myself lose 1 single pound every single day, I was weak. Like, obviously, it was such an honor to be a part of Creator Clash and to help the charities and to see my old friends and meet new friends. But I was so happy when this thing was over. I kept saying that to other people. I was like, aren't we all so happy when it was over? And they were like, kinda. I was like, man, Quick was beating me up. And so, yeah, now when I hear someone say that they lost a bunch of weight in a short amount of time, I'm like, ooh, that's tough. It sucks.
And after dropping 14 pounds like that, you don't have a lot of energy.
And he was shredded,
And he was still rocking it. How?
Yeah, like I said, before Creator Clash, I'd spent like 3 years working out diligently. So I didn't work out for 2 weeks, and I thought that I was going to lose all of my muscle mass. And I remember iDubbbz was like, you're going to be one of the shreddest people at the weigh-in. And he was right. It turns out working out is a scam, and you don't lose all your muscles when you don't work out for 2 weeks like they're all telling you do. I mean, I was still working out boxing. I don't know. It was probably like 5 or 6 days a week we were doing. So it's not like I was doing nothing. But I expected myself to deflate in 2 weeks, and I didn't. But mentally, I was drained. Because, like, you know, I'm used to when, like, when I want to go to sleep or something, I just eat some food. And I fall asleep within a couple minutes of eating. Or, like, you know, within half an hour of eating the food. So during this, I was like, I can't just, like, eat something before I go to sleep. I can't have sugary beverages.
I do think, Chris, for having a 6-inch height disadvantage, the reach advantage.
A lot of you might not know how big a difference that is. The amount of reach that he has to just keep him away all night.
Like in this highlight, you can...
Yeah, I'm really lucky. I'm really blessed. Who would ever thought, if you've been watching my videos for, 15, 20 years, I used to end every single one of my videos, give peace a chance and knuckle touch. I used to not even be in fighting for, like, fun reasons, like sports. But, times have changed. I'm older, and I allowed it. But yeah, it's crazy that, like, I have a really long reach. However, just because someone is short, do not underestimate them. I love watching fights where the shorter fighter wins, like Pitbull Cruz, Mike Tyson, who was short for his weight class. So but luckily for me, I just had a really good coach.
He's getting hit. He physically can't reach and hit back without stepping in.
Yeah.
And he did. He was going for the body. He was hitting the body regularly. And in this moment...
And I'm going to be honest with you. So, if you're into boxing, you know that, like, most of the time, fighters don't go into the ring at 100% because you have to cut weight or gain weight. You're always going to be at not exactly how you are when you're just walking around. So me in this ring is the weakest version of me possible, having not had food in 2 weeks. But I'm going to tell you the truth. When Chris Raygun was smacking me, that stuff didn't even hurt because my sparring partner was beating the smack out of me. Because he was an actual amateur boxer who was also 5'4" and also named Chris. So when level 78 Chris was beating me up in the sparring gym, that's when I was really getting hurt. Because I remember I would be, fighting Mexican dudes in the Mexican gym. This guy, he would hit me where my headgear wasn't. Like, he hit me in my ear. I remember I went into this fight, I was like, oh, I had a headache already. I was limping because I had overrun and my legs were all hurting and whatnot. So this is a heavily hurt and damaged William. Like, I was already in so much pain just walking into the ring. That him slapping me, nothing. I'd already been being beat for a couple of weeks.
The ref called the fight. However...
Thank you to that ref for calling the fight. I think that Markiplier is, because I've seen this clip before. I haven't seen the other one. I saw this on TikTok the other day, Googling myself. But Markiplier is about to say, he's like, it's a charity event. You're not supposed to call it the fight. But he was like, it was called slightly early. No.
And I'm always on the side of safety because this is a charity event.
For sure.
But I also am like, oh man, I'm not in a position to say like something was called early or anything like that.
It wasn't. That refs jumped in at the perfect time. I think I counted it, and I probably hit him like 12 times in a row, and he hadn't returned anything. And that's how it works in boxing. I mean, you know, in the real professionals, they'll let that go on for like an entire round. But usually if you're not returning anything, the ref needs to stop it. Because just because he wasn't dropped doesn't mean that he wasn't being affected by those shots. I don't know. I felt really bad about it. I mean, even though we're using 16-ounce gloves or whatever, like we're hitting each other with pillowcases compared to the professionals. But I felt really weird after this about me beating up Chris Ray Gun. I mean, yeah, I don't like violence, but you know, whatever.
The stats heavily
0% jabs landed, but
I think if you put me in Chris Ray Gun's body, I could have beat me, but I know exactly what to do. So, okay, so he did this podcast with this other guy. Who would have thought Markiplier has a sports podcast?
I was doing the pre-show and post-show at Creator Clash, which is a story in and of itself. Not many people know that I came directly from filming to fly in the day of the event at a 6 a.m. flight and then leave. I had to get up at 4 a.m. Go
He's
to 6
badass.
flight, get over there.
But anyway, they don't talk about me in this clip. They talk about it right after. I wonder if I'm able to actually play this. So that's the guy right there that's talking in this clip. The guy that someone in my comments said he didn't like my act is this guy right here. Let's see what he had to say, though. But I can't blame him. I know who I am.
And the chaos that was TBD, the guy who fought Chris Ray Gun, I forget his name off the top of my head.
William Haynes
Is my name, okay?
He hopped on stage and interrupted the show of this comedian that they paid to come on for entertainment.
Oh, okay. When I read the comment, I thought that the guy was saying that he was talking about my speech after Creator Clash. But no, I definitely bombed this comedian. Or I didn't bomb this comedian. I saved him from bombing. Well, let's see his opinion.
And he was like, I only got 5 seconds of highlight screen time. Harley was up there for like a full minute. And I'm like, man, dude, they grabbed clips in the heat of the moment and you're complaining because you got 5 seconds.
No, sir. I did not get 5 seconds. I got less than 5 seconds. Like, I know you guys got a highlight reel of me. I know I didn't fly all the way out here and at the gala next day to not be picked.
The fight lasted a round and a half.
Yeah.
Was he actually mad? Was he actually mad?
It seemed like it. He didn't get really mad, but I think he had a little too much to drink and he stepped up on the stage.
None. I was just already like so tired and wanted to go home. But nah, man, this is obviously I'm joking. I mean, the thing is about a lot of jokes is that a lot of jokes are real. Yes, they didn't really use me. Am I really mad? Half yes, half no. Not really, but how funny would it be to comment on it, you know?
But then the comedian was like, I feel like I'm in an episode of Jerry Springer right now. Like, he just ran with it and he brought Chris Ray Gun up and they had the whole beef and he was like, he feels like he's part of the Oompa Loompa Brigade and like...
Yes, exactly. I saved Troy Bond or whatever his name is because he was bombing so bad because the event did not have a host to say, okay, now this girl's going to sing a song. Now this guy's going to do stand-up. People just walked up when it was time for them to do their performance. And I have an issue when I hear a comedian bombing. When I hear a comedian doing the jokes and absolutely nobody's listening, he went into Ron DeSanctimonious, and I'm like, Also, what he should know is that before this, I knew that I was going to do this like 10 seconds before. I went up to Chris Ray Gun. I said, we should go up there together. And Chris Ray Gun was like, hell nah. So I was like, all right, I'll do it myself. I waited for a lull. He went into Ron DeSanctimonious, and then I went on stage.
Made a whole bunch of jokes, and he was just like intermediary, and he's like, anybody else want to come up here and air their grievances?
Oh man, that is really silly. It's like, I hope...
Exactly, dude, it's really funny, and I set the whole thing up. That's what the whole event should have been.
He understands that I fought for everyone to get highlight time. They wanted to keep all of the previous fights from the main event super truncated so that we'd be like boof, boof, boof. But I was like, no, everyone gets their due. And the reason that there wasn't enough highlights is because the fight lasted a round and a half. But we will get to that fight because we're going to break down all of these things.
Oh, wow.
So there physically was not that much to highlight.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that they talked about my entire fight and everything, but I don't feel like going through all of this. This video is as long as I wanted it to be. I can't believe that's the first thing they talked about on this podcast.
No, it was really funny, though, because the comedian just leaned into it and ran with it. All right, that's fair, then. That's fair.
Yeah, I'm the GOAT. All right. Everybody should recognize that as soon as possible.
All right, so let's get into this. Tyler's a little sick. Thankfully, I avoided it.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense. So, in conclusion, to everyone on here who may have grown up, very nerdy or very shy, I think it's time that you start telling people how you want to be treated. And that's the difference between me in the past and me now. I think it's important to stand up for yourself. Maybe you should tell them that you said no pickles. As I enter my adult life, I want to stand up for myself so I can also stand up for others. Sometimes I might have to save a comedian by being the bad guy. Maybe I might have to save iDubbbz show round 4 by being the bad guy. And that's what makes life worth living sometimes. I'm in my supervillain era. Deal with it. Please leave a like on me and subscribe on me. Amen.